The old Zhiguli crept along a narrow, winding road snaking through a dense forest. The sky was overcast, and heavy raindrops drummed on the car's roof. My friend Petya and I were headed to his dacha, located in the middle of nowhere, far from civilization. The car jolted over potholes, and the headlights illuminated only a narrow strip ahead, surrounded by a dense wall of trees. I felt uneasy, but Petya seemed oblivious to anything strange. He talked about our plans for the weekend: fishing, barbecuing, and night chats by the campfire. Suddenly, the engine made strange noises and the Zhiguli stalled. We stopped in the middle of the forest, in complete darkness. Petya tried to start the car, but to no avail. "Damn it," he muttered, getting out of the car. "Looks like we'll have to walk." We pulled up our hoods and, grabbing flashlights, started walking along the road, hoping to reach the dacha on foot. The rain intensified, soaking us to the bone. Around us was absolute silence, broken only by the sound of the rain and our footsteps. Suddenly, Petya stopped and raised his hand, signaling for silence. I froze, listening to the sounds around us. A strange, low growl came from the depths of the forest. I felt a cold fear pierce my heart. We exchanged glances, Petya's face pale. We decided to quicken our pace, but the growl repeated, this time closer. Suddenly, a huge shadow flickered among the trees. My heart pounded in my chest, and we ran without looking back. But the shadow moved faster, keeping up with us. I stumbled and fell, my flashlight flying out of my hands and going out. Petya helped me up, but at that moment the shadow stood right in front of us. We froze, unable to move. Petya's flashlight illuminated a huge creature covered in thick black fur. It stood on its hind legs, its eyes burning with a red light. The creature let out a guttural growl that made the ground beneath our feet tremble. Petya slowly backed away, holding my hand, but the creature didn't move, just watching us with its terrifying eyes. I felt icy fear paralyze me, and we stood rooted to the spot. Suddenly, the creature dropped to all fours and slowly approached. I knew we had no chance of escape, but the instinct for survival made us run. We raced down the slippery road, barely keeping our footing. Ahead, we saw a light Petya's dacha. We burst into the house, slammed the door shut, and bolted it. Inside, it was dark and cold, but we felt relatively safe. We held our breath, listening for sounds outside. After a few minutes, we heard heavy footsteps on the porch. The creature was right outside the door. Petya grabbed an old hunting rifle hanging on the wall and stood in front of the door. I found a knife and stood beside him. The footsteps stopped, but we knew the monster hadn't left. Suddenly, there was a loud bang on the door, and it cracked and buckled. Petya took aim, but he was shaking with fear. The door couldn't hold, and the creature burst inside. Petya fired, but it only angered the monster. It knocked Petya down and turned towards me. I swung the knife, but the creature hit me with its paw, sending me flying across the room and crashing into the wall. Losing consciousness, I saw the creature towering over Petya, ready to strike. At that moment, I heard a familiar sound, the howling of wolves. The creature froze, turned towards the window, and leapt outside, disappearing into the forest. We lay on the floor, battered and bruised. The wolves continued howling somewhere in the distance, but the creature didn't return. We didn't know what it was or why it left, but we were grateful for our lives. In the morning, when the rain had stopped and the forest was shrouded in a light mist, we cautiously stepped outside. Deep scratches marred the porch, and tufts of black fur lay scattered around. We silently gathered our things and headed back to the car. That night remained forever in our memories. We never returned to that dacha and avoided trips through that forest. The fear and horror we experienced that night changed our lives forever. We understood that there are things in this world best left undisturbed, hidden in the dark corners of our reality.